We'll flip it to the other trade then. You got the Harvin and Seahawks trade. What was going on there?
That sort of surprised me.
Kind of surprised everybody. Now, Percy Harvin is obviously going to go up there. But the thing that's going to worry me, it's almost like they're putting too much. And I only say that because Russell Wilson's a guy who scrambles, a guy who gets out of pocket, does a lot with his legs. So that may take a play or two away from Harvin. You have beast mode in Marshawn Lynch. Who's Harvin going to take touches away from? Probably going to take a few away from Marshawn Lynch. Now, the rest of the wide receiving core and tight ends don't matter there because they all stink. But when you're taking the ball out of your two best players' hands and putting it in somebody else's hands, and don't get me wrong, Harvin's a good playmaker, but it's almost like too much. You can't run a bubble screen every time.
I look at it, see, and I looked at it the complete opposite way. The one thing that Seattle had success with but didn't run too often was the read option. They didn't run it anywhere near how Washington was running it with RG3. Or, I mean, they were a little closer to Carolina with Cam, but still ran it probably the least out of the three teams. The read option with a guy like Percy Harvin, or Percy Harvin and Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, all of a sudden that becomes even harder to defend with a team that was already hard enough to defend. You're adding a guy that can put up points in three different perspectives whenever he touches the ball. He can return, receive, or run. So you're giving a team that, I guess you would say technically their biggest issue was scoring points, the opportunity to score more points with a defense that it didn't lose anybody this year, is only going to probably add another player or two in the draft. I look at this Seattle team, won 11 games last year. They're going to be right there fighting with San Francisco again, most likely this year for the division. But I will say, who knows what these two quarterbacks are going to do? That is the one question. If I'm a 49ers fan or a Seahawks fan, there is no guarantee that Russell Wilson's going to do for you that what he did last year, and there's no guarantee that Colin Kaepernick's going to do for you what he did in a 10-game span for you last year either. No guarantees. You know your guarantees in the NFL right now? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Drew Brees. You know, you have 5 or 6 guys quarterback-wise that you sit there and you know year in and year out what they're going to give you. Cowboys fans, after 2 years ago, thought Romo was going to come out and have this MVP type of season. He started the league in the first half of the year with more interceptions than anybody, and I mean almost twice as many as anybody. By the end of the year, it evened out, and he was right there with Breeze and the other guys when it came down to interceptions, blah, blah, blah. But that's still half a year without knowing what that guy was going to do for us or for the Cowboys. So I look at those two teams, and that's your real question mark with these two teams. I don't doubt what their defenses are going to be. I don't doubt what their run games are going to be like. I don't doubt any of that. The only question you have with these two teams are the quarterbacks. But now you've given both of them a solid option at wide receiver on top of, I like Crabtree more than any wide receiver they got on Seattle before this Harvin trade, no question. Sidney Rice, Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, Like, I mean, yeah, these guys performed for this team, but it's not like I sit there and look at them like, man, I wish the Cowboys had them on their team. No, don't feel like that. Just don't. So, Seattle, to me, really needed a weapon on the outside. They did. They don't need a return guy. Let's be serious here. Leon Washington's pretty damn good. Is he the same guy he was 3-4 years ago? No. But Harvin's probably going to be your number one. So do you really want him returning kicks too? No, didn't think so. Now, tie game, fourth quarter. You need good field position. You want to put him in for a punt return? All right, fine. You know what I mean? Big moment type of plays. I get that. But you're not putting this guy in as your daily, everyday kick return. You don't have to. First round pick, though?
First round pick. was it a 5th round pick and then a middle round pick next year as well. 3 picks.
3 picks. Oh, I thought it was just a first-round draft pick.
No, first rounder, a 5th rounder, and then a middle rounder next year.
Probably incentive-based, how Harvin plays, all that kind of nonsense. Wow. See, you actually just taught me something new. Now I really don't think that. I don't think Harvin's worth that much.
I don't know why the Vikings were so interested in getting rid of him. Maybe it's another cap move because he's wanting a big contract and like he's going into the last year of his deal. But I look at it and all it does is hurt Adrian Peterson.
Well, AP was pissed. He literally just tweeted out. I actually put his tweet in my notes because I thought it was, just I knew we would get to this simply for the fact that Adrian Peterson is that team's franchise. You don't want to piss off the guy that represents your franchise. And he comes out, the best all-around, this is Adrian Peterson, the best all-around player I have ever seen or you'll ever see goes to Seattle. I feel like I just got kicked in the stomach several times. I wish my boy Percy nothing but success. God bless you, homie. Now, keep in mind, Harvin was leading the league through 9 games in all-purpose yards. When the year ended, he still led his team in receptions and receiving yards. He has 7,168 all-purpose yards through 4 years with 29 touchdowns. 20 receiving, 5 return, 4 rushing. The man is an impact player. Nobody doubts that. Health is probably the number one concern with this guy. The migraines early in his career, then I think, what was it, his knee that went on him this year? I can't remember what injury he had. But either which way. Health is definitely the number one concern with Harvin. So explain to me how you're willing to sacrifice a 1st, a 5th, you said, and then a mid-round conditional next year. That's a lot of stuff to give up for a guy that, even if you give him a contract extension, there's nothing guaranteeing he gives you more than half a season each year. I don't know. I don't like the Bolden trade at all. If I'm San Francisco, I love it. If I'm the Ravens, I don't like it at all. If I'm Minnesota, I like this trade. If I'm Seattle, I don't. If I'm
sure you don't want to reverse that?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I mixed up my words. My
I was
apologies.
going to say, because I figured Seattle would be the ones that were happy.
Oh, no. I meant it that way. Minnesota gets 3 draft picks out of this and gets a guy that could turn into a problem in their locker room.
Yeah, but the thing about the first-round pick they're getting, it's like pick number 20 or 17. They're not getting a very good... Or no. It's got to be even lower than that. It's got to be in like the mid-20s.
It's in the mid-20s. But...
It's not like you're getting a first-rounder that's a top 5.
But this isn't a draft that you're really that excited to be in your top 5 or 10 anyway. Yeah, there are players you can get up there, but it's not like this is a draft where you're like, oh, my God. And if it's a draft where they really feel like that, there's a couple teams in that top 10 area that if you all put together a little package deal for them with your 2 first-round draft picks now, all of a sudden... you could get up there, and you're only spending your 1 pick and another team's pick to go get somebody you might really like. And you're getting them on the rookie wage scale, so you're paying them less than you would pay Harvin anyway.